beautiful souls. Welcome to the Raw and Wild Hearts podcast. I'm your host and guide, Lori Rising, star channeler, transformational mentor, and evolutionary astrologer, and cheerleader of your divinity, your majesty, your freaking greatness here on this planet. Y'all, the level of ascension is so big. It's so divine, and it is so exciting. Now, you might be going, Lori, what the heck are you talking about? This is overwhelming. It's intense. I feel a continual battle and struggle. I feel this discomfort in my body and my experience. That's the reason you're feeling it, because the light that's pouring onto the planet is illuminating the shadow within each of us, as well as within the collective. So it's like we're getting hit from all angles in the best of ways. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back to the little intro here. Welcome again to this podcast. If you're a longtime listener, I'm so excited that you're back. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for subscribing and being ready for these rando episodes that drop at this point in my business, in my transmissions. I'm really moving through a deep Pluto transit in my 10th house, which is the house of career and work. And I'm letting myself evolve with it. I'm letting myself feel into the things that are alive, the things that bring me excitement and yes, energy. And honestly, the things that bring an ROI on my business, because I know that you're getting results through them, because I am getting feedback from you in some form or another. And I'll be honest, this podcast has been kind of maybe on the chopping block a little bit, even though it's my baby and I absolutely love it. It's kind of gone by the wayside because I'm getting more feedback in other areas of my business, and there's only one of me. And as we know, whatever we do to bring in resources has to grow and sustain us. And, that's really where I'm at. I've been putting out a lot in various channels, and now it's time for me to really let Pluto come in and help me out. And that's exactly what Pluto is coming in and doing for you, especially in a certain area of your life, which is going to be shown through your natal chart at whatever house Pluto is transiting through. So if you know how to read your natal chart, go ahead and grab it and check it out, because you're going to be like, oh, dang. Yeah, I am feeling the squeeze in that area. And that's the deal, y'all. The ascension comes when we are available and ready to move through the shadow, the blocks, the resistance, the limitations, the wounds, the patterns that have been holding us back, that have been dimming the light. So ascension and soul growth and even personal development happen at these precipices, these edges, which is where the breakthrough is available. Now, we've been trained and conditioned in a culture that has kept us behind the breakthrough. It's kept us ruminating in the mind story and staying just so focused in the control of our lives. And wow, what we are getting to feel and live from in this divine connection, in the resurgence and reawakening of our innate guidance system, is absolutely amazing, and literally the miracles that we thought only certain people were allowed to have. We are the miracles. We are the highest form of technology. Ooh, it's so good. I equate it to an amusement ride. I was actually just talking with somebody that's in one of my private mentorships yesterday, and we were talking about the beginner's mind and showing up for the possibilities and beyond the rules or the expertise or it has to be a certain way. Because again, in that space and that energy, there's a level of control and there's a level of mind manipulation. And when we can really just let ourselves be available for whatever's to come and believe that something will come through, even if we try something new or we shift something or change something up that we've created a habit around, that's when we really do start to experience things in our life that we have never had before because they haven't been in our perception or awareness. So, really breaking free of the linear educational system that has us putting certain things, people, ideas, belief systems, thoughts on a pedestal and negating what might come through when we embrace the unknown, find the inner childlike excitement, enthusiasm, and curiosity in life, and trust that whatever someone is sharing with us is meant to open us in a new and unprecedented way for our growth. Every person in your life offers the opportunity for transformation, the opportunity for reflection, or the opportunity to double down to create more resistance in the body, in the energy, in the soul, and to find ourselves even more disconnected from our divine light and spark of trust. It's also a grand opportunity to recognize the internal struggle and disempowerment that our unhealthy egos can really box us into. Yeah. And this Pluto squeeze is revealing some area of your life right now that this is absolutely happening and continuing to hold you back and not serve you. Pluto wants the death of the BS that we hold on to so tightly in these really, really wound up minds. So as we move forward in 2024, y'all, this is pivotal. It's really going to be the biggest shift between the 3D matrix mind and the galactic activation of our full body and system and higher technology that we came here to thrive from. And that includes our energy, it includes our nervous system, it includes our heart, it includes our light, it includes our belief. You've got to get down and dirty in those embedded root beliefs that have been coming in through generations, because this is the time. We are the disruptors. We said yes to these exact Pluto transits, and we said yes to this experience in this body. So with this cosmic activation that's happening with Uranus and Jupiter in 2024, it's why you're going to get a lot more angry, overwhelmed, frustrated, confused, and even physically ill when you continue to stay in the mind and you keep forcing life and being led by control and continuing to self-sacrifice what your heart and your true light within are here to share and emanate out into the world. So if you want to know a little bit more about the energies that I'm tapping into for 2024 in astrology, head on over to my YouTube channel at The Raw and Wild Hearts, or my name, Lori Rising, and check out that video. I also do an activation at the end, and this is key. Like, this is clutch, y'all. Anything you do is going to require the alchemy of the energy into your physical body experience. I mean, it's wild what's happening in our cells. The rate at which we're clearing the imprints and the wounds and the patterns from the cellular structure and the DNA to create the space and integrate the light that's coming on. We are having so many people go through enlightenments, epiphanies, awakenings. And sometimes that can spark a little bit of fear because it takes you into a bodily sensation that you've never known before and that the culture has been disassociating you from for generations. So this is why, y'all, it is so unbelievably critical and crucial that you find the community that's vibrating in the frequency that you're moving towards, what you know your heart is opening into. Because if you stay in the communities and groups that have been feeling like there's a disconnect, a struggle, a judgment, a push and pull or an inability to be your full self in your beautiful, gorgeous expression, you've got to cut it loose. You have to. That doesn't mean that it will never come back around. We have to find the space of trust in ourselves, trust in other people, trust in the world. And when you can really find that sovereignty in everything, which means that everyone here came to have a certain journey, and you in their life, even when you create ripples or it becomes disharmonious because you pull away, or it creates something in order for you to come back to alignment, that's the trust that it was meant for them in their journey. And they get the choice to grow and transmute and transform from that shadow or experience that's giving them the opportunity, or they don't. And that's okay. It's all okay. What's not okay is that we continue to sacrifice these precious, gorgeous, very short lives in order to maintain a status quo or how it's always been, or unhealthy energy of those around us. So this is the year for you to fully step in your power and to find the people vibrating in that spark of what you've known is possible deep in your bones, deep in your cells, even as a child, but you've let it go out of obligation or stories that you've created for yourself based on the environment around you. So here is the truth, and I feel that many of us are coming into the resonance of this in our cells, in our bones, and in our blood, is that the only thing that ever holds you back from taking those actions, those steps, those inspired energies into your deepest dreams and desires of this life is you. It's the stories that you're running. That's it. Because, you beautiful ones, we are here to go through emotion. We're here to have feelings. We're here to go through pain. There's going to be experiences. There are all kinds of levels of awareness, unawareness, consciousness, unconsciousness on this planet. And if we keep focusing on what we don't want, which is how we've been trained in these linear and limited systems, we're going to keep amplifying it. It's the truth. So it takes intention, it takes practice, and it takes a community around you to vibrate in that space of holding the timeline, the vibe, the identity of who you know you came here to be until it becomes physical in your body and your reality. This really is the manifestation. And manifestation actually is much easier when you change your environment, when you shift your stream of consciousness, because we're so absorptive. We are energy before we're anything else, that anything that comes through our senses on a daily basis will be absorbed, and it will not be sorted into categories of this is good and this is not good. Your environment is everything. It's everything, y'all. When I decided to enhance and intentionally strengthen my divine connection, my God self, my psychic strength, and to come out as that being, the star self, the star seed that I've always been, and stop separating parts of my life where there were only a few friends that knew that part of me. And I brought some of it into my work because I was doing healing energy body work, yet I was living from that business dynamic of keeping everything personal separate and just doing everything the client wants and following that protocol to a T. And that was creating more and more separation in my soul and my spirit and my body, quite honestly. And I kept getting this tapping that it was time to go big, the thing that I kept hearing, but I didn't know how to make it happen. The first thing that I did, y'all, is I changed my environment. I finally left Portland. I had been in Portland for so many years. And the thing is, I felt like I had almost dug myself into this hole where all of my friends, all of my clients, even the energy of Portland had seen me in a certain way. And I started to see myself in that way as well. So I've done this a couple of times in my life when I've started to get into this rut or stuck pattern that I've literally changed the location and environment so that I could grow, I could heal, I could find the thing that was tapping on my soul because it wasn't coming in the space that I was in. Now, things are very different now because I can be in any environment and I'm easily accessing it like 24/7 because I was so intentional with this reclamation of the full me in every single area of my life. And now I help others really tap into their innate medicine, their rawness, their authenticity, because that's what we came here to share and teach from the beginner's mind and as the sage, because we all have ancient encoded wisdom, evolutionary truth that runs through our cells, in our blood, in our veins. And it's been muted and suppressed over and over and over by the imprint of all these wounds and experiences and environments that we continue to give our mass belief to. And then we just continue to rack up more evidence for unworthiness and struggle. So it's almost like those 2 times, I would say 3 times in my life, specifically, I gave myself a clean slate. I gave myself almost like this palette where I got to create from without the pressure of ultimately how I viewed myself through other people's eyes. Because those are the stories that we run and we start to argue for our limitations within that. But we use the excuse of blaming others around us, i.e. our parents quite often. And then that just keeps us running the loop of victim consciousness and staying in the excuse that we don't have the resources to create this path of reclamation. And let me tell you, when I created those shifts in my friend groups, my community, and in my family, and spent that divine, exquisite time communing with myself and getting to know me on such a very, very deep, layered level, I found the space of strength and trust in evolution. And I knew that the friends and family that were going to grow with me would be there. They'd come back around and our relationship would be stronger and better than ever. And the ones that served their purpose and were there for a season or a cycle and hopefully, for some great knowledge, learning, reflection, and wisdom, it was okay. It was okay for that evolution to happen. It was okay for them to go. But really what's most important is that I came to this place of deep love for everything and everyone in my past and in my life. And nothing had power over me anymore. And y'all, I'll tell you what, the people that stayed, the people that showed up and came along through this journey, even the ones that got scared by some of the things that were happening in my world, in my life, and what I was really opening up to and sharing with in a big way, those relationships are rich. My circles are pretty small, but they are reliable. They are strong. They are sacred. And that's how I want it in my life. And I know that I'm going to meet everyone else beyond this form, beyond condition, and in some divine magic. I mean, y'all, we're going to get together and we're going to be raining down all kinds of ancestral wisdom for the generations to come. Like, yes, let's do it, right? I can't wait to meet you there. So, you beautiful people, 2024 and beyond, if you're listening to this way down the road, is the time to dig up the deepest courage to follow your heart. And you know what your heart has been telling you. You know what's been tapping on your soul. Even when you jump off that precipice and you make the big change in your life, the pressure has been released. And now it's time for the experience to really unfold for you in unbelievably healing ways. We just got so used to living in a subpar space, really siphoning our power out to all these things that were supposed to make it better for us, that were supposed to guide us in different ways. And it just continued to disconnect us from the ultimate source and creator energy that we are. I mean, come on, we've been told over and over and over, victim consciousness. That's just life. This is the hand you've been dealt. How life is happening to you. You make a choice, and that's it forever. Wow, the limitation in that. Like, our biggest superpower is to change, to grow, and evolve. And we have a society that has been running off of and benefiting from our belief we are here to suffer through this life and our choices. So here we go. This is going to change the landscape of humanity forever, ever, ever, ever. I really wanted to make that point. It's so exciting, y'all, when we really do say yes to our nervous system, to our regulation, to our homeostasis, to our softness, to our rest and receiving, and to our aligned action from that place of trust. Oh, y'all. Life gets rich. And let me be super clear right now. You did not come here to stay small because of the pain, because of the violence, because of the imbalance and the atrocities out in the world. You came to live in your greatest strength, sovereignty, and superpower of your light, which will emanate into the world and begin to shift realities in quantum ways when we come together in this belief. And imagine children referencing this, learning it, having it normalized in their experience. It's up to us, y'all. We are beginning this. We are the gatekeepers. We are the bridge generation to create these new systems of empowerment, of sovereignty, of love, of benevolence, of abundance consciousness, and frequency amplification. So really what it comes down to is we decide how quick it's going to go for us personally. And then when we come together in these beautiful circles, these memberships, these retreats, these groups, and we bring it into a concentrated acupuncture point of the earth, of the light of the universe, and send it out, that's when we tip and shift the dominant narrative in this culture. We have to actually live it. So it's not that we just believe it or think about it or do it in our alone time. We live this. We walk our talk. We share it. And we continue to move toward what amplifies our hearts, our softness, and our creator energy. So the environment that creates these belief systems, which is what we really run our lives and reality on, is a combination between your mind that runs the stories of the imprints that have not had the chance to be released from your body in your past experiences. And then you continue to gather evidence for it or from it in your stream of consciousness and the environment that's around you on a day-to-day basis. And then those belief systems complete the loop or the cycle of being the environment of your cells and DNA, and what continues to be passed on through generations and continues to hold the energy of the dominant narrative that people continue to tap into, especially those people that are held in the loop of survival energy, and it continues to be normalized for them. So I'm going to leave you with a final story about how our belief system, our energy, and our stream of consciousness all around us is actually more potent and powerful than any medicine or technology that we've created on this earth. And it's not a story, it's a reality, but it's all about childbirth. So I'm sure many of you know that I worked in childbirth for a good 10 years, maybe 15 years. And it was so insightful and infuriating. we can look at birth kind of like as the micro environment to our humanity and collective as the macro environment. And what we see happen in a very concentrated, short time in birth is what we see unfolding over time in humanity and in the collective. So, what happens by the time a mother goes to give birth in our Western medical system, and it might be in other systems as well, but this is the one that I'm familiar with, is that she has been so disconnected and disassociated from her intuition and her power that she has now been brainwashed to believe that she's pretty much a bystander in her own birth. And birth is the most transcendent and empowering and impactful moment of our life, of our lives as the ones being born, and as a woman's life as the mother birthing a child. So even if you never go on to have a birth, or you never have a partner that has a birth, or you never have a child, you have been impacted by this through your own birth. And we can trace back so much of the imprints of our core wounds to that experience. It's just, it's absolutely spirit blowing, y'all, but I'm not going to get into all that here. What happens in the environment or even the room of a woman birthing throughout the 9 months of prenatal care, of continually questioning a mother's instincts, denying a mother's instincts, having control over what a mother does or doesn't do in her pregnancy. She shows up to her birth completely doubting herself, her ability to birth, her body's ability to birth, and she's often never even been in touch with the energy of the baby's job to birth. And then we add in a system that's for profit, which means the more procedures they do, the more profit they make, and liability based, which means the more that they control the event, the less liable they are. Now, this is with a process that's actually innate in our bodies. Our bodies are made to do this, just like they're made to go to the bathroom, have bowel movements, digest food. And so the default is that it happens very well. It happens easily. There's only occasion that we should actually have to consult an expert about it, just like those other areas. And of course, the further we get along in our world and the toxins and the chemicals and the fear and all the things that come in toxic wise to our bodies, to our thoughts, to our emotions, to our energy, that's going to disrupt that homeostasis or the ability or the flow that creates ease in these systems of these bodies. And so now you've got anybody who is a helper to that mother that's really supporting her birth, whether it's a partner, a doula, a friend, they are under the influence of this system as well. And mom has signed all of her rights basically away, which actually isn't true. But again, that's for another day. Now, the dominant energy or stream of consciousness of that birthing environment is fear, stress, control, power over, and mistrust. These are all things that will impede the natural process of any part of our body, but especially a birthing experience, because it's happening in that moment. Now, when these things and this environment impedes our digestion, our bodies will continue to try to find that homeostasis and find the health and regenerate on its own. And so it's not until years later that we actually have the symptoms of those imbalances in the digestive system. But like I said, in birth, we can see everything play out really quick in this micro environment. And all of those belief systems and the stories that have been created over time actually become the environment of the baby. And that can shift the energy and output of the baby as well. The communication gets impeded, and the more that we have disrupted the hormonal cascade that's meant to actually move every part of the next phase forward, the less birth works well, because it's literally fueled by every one of those beautiful profound hormonal interactions and actions. And now this system that has created this very unsupportive environment in the name of control, fear, stress, liability, and power over has the reins of everything that comes next. And that often takes an experience that we all go through in one way or another that's meant to be so transcendent that it touches the energy of God. It reawakens that knowledge and that divinity within us and actually becomes the source or the root of the deepest spaces of disempowerment, disassociation, trauma, guilt, shame, and so much more. When in actuality, by creating the most beautiful, loving, trustworthy space in that environment from every person that contributes to this celebration and coming of life, we could change humanity, all of humanity, in one generation, just by deeply understanding the power and the highest form of technology that these bodies actually are, and truly believing in them in the depths of our cells and our bones and our blood. So I really just wanted to end this episode on the power of an environment and the power of our belief, our attention, and our energy, the frequency that we're emanating. It's so much bigger than these minds. It's so much bigger than the forced and controlled life that we've been looping in. And I hope that this podcast has been so supportive for you. I hope that it has awakened something within that's going to be a spark for the light that's to come in your unfolding experience. And I hope that it helps you find the courage to take the steps into the unknown through the path of your heart with what's been tapping on your soul. You know the resistance in your mind. You know when you've been coming back to that loop. And I know if you're here listening to this podcast, it's getting more and more uncomfortable. Remember, the only person that can do anything about that is you. And I'm here to help you. I'm here as a supreme guide and a conduit to reawaken the ancient encoded knowledge that pulsates through your cells and wants to be unleashed in your life. I'm here to help you burn down the conditioned beliefs and the programs and the fear that is not yours and it never has been. So please join me in my community. Check out my hub at therawandwildhearts.com. I have so many freebies. I offer free ceremonies in various ways. I've got my membership community. There's just so much richness in how my mission has continued to unfold. And I do want to share that I have an exquisite invitation for one or two of you. My biggest and most profound container, which is my Awaken Your Life Force retreat, the sacred reclamation of you, the full light of you, the full heart of you, the full feeling of you, is coming up next month. There's one eco luxury accommodation left. To be honest with you, words cannot describe this experience. The level of progressive ascension that comes in a full week-long immersion with me and this gorgeous group of women. Oh my gosh, this investment will raise your frequency so quickly in quantum leaps. You will come back a different person. You will come back in a multidimensional reality, and your physical life will catch up because of it. It will change. It will evolve. Everything in your world will elevate. Even when you make the changes because you've moved to a new dimension and a new reality and some things have to go, that is a beautiful thing. And everyone in your communities will be tapping in to your vibrancy, your aliveness, and your energy that is now becoming your reality. So I have a few great horned owls on my homestead property, And I have been doing the energetic foundation of calling one or two of you in, and I've been singing with those owls. So if you have had an encounter with an owl or a sign or a message with an owl, this may be your heart call. Great Owl has finished the vibrational invitation that has been unleashed into the field. And now I am just relaying the message of this availability to all of you out there. And I am in a deep state of trust that if this circle is not complete yet, the one or two of you out there will declare it. You will come. You will know it's for you. You will move beyond your mind and all of the stories that want to try to keep you in this perceived safety of a controlled and dimmed experience of your light. And this, you beautiful, gorgeous soul, will be your declaration. You will be sharing new layers of DNA consciousness for generations to come. This work is so profound. It's so sacred. This is an initiation and a reclamation. And there are amazing bonuses that are coming in. I am offering you a traditional Temazcal ceremony with a local shaman. If that aligns for you in this experience, I'm offering a beach day excursion where we are going to be converging with Mama Ocean, the whale medicine, the beautiful people, the location. We are on the beach. It's just a short walk down to the beach to actually hear and feel the ancestors, the guides, the angels, the spirit that will be here to work with us. It's over the Medicine Woman full moon. That was very deliberate. It's during All Planets Direct because we have so much forward momentum for really changing these stories in the embodied root transformation that I offer one-on-one in this experience. It's a week-long immersion. It's February 20th to the 26th. It's in Todos Santos, Mexico. All you have to get besides your registration is your airplane ticket, your insurance, and you have the opportunity to offer any gratuities that feel good for you. Check out my website, check out my webpage, check out all of the testimonials from last year. They are off the spiritual hook. If you've never worked with me before, set up a free discovery call so we can feel this out together and make sure it's absolutely aligned. It's coming, and if you want to be in your mastery through what's going down in 2024 and beyond, this is the foundation that you're going to create from. Oh, y'all, it is so rich. It is so good. I hope to see you there. This is the last of its kind. I will not be offering this long of an immersion again, and my retreats that will come back in maybe 1 to 2 years will be shorter and they will be bigger in audience size. So just keep that in mind as you're tapping into the frequency of your heart and the alignment that may be there. And like I said before, if this episode has supported you, please share it with just one friend. Or go big and share it on your social media and tag me, take a screenshot. I'd love to share you back in my stories. This is a co-creation. This is a collaborative effort. And if you want more of the podcast back, besides my YouTube channel, which is where I share a lot of the astrology transmissions, give me a star rating and review. Let me know that you are out there, you're listening, it's resonating, it's vibing for you. And definitely make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can also just send me a note, DM me, send me an email. Let me know what's going on, what's really activating for you. I mean, y'all, let's keep building these environments that run from abundance consciousness, from a heart-led life, from the cycles and seasons that we're meant to move through, and from holistic wealth. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a beautiful part of this gorgeous community that I feel unbelievably grateful to move with and build on in this life. Make sure to stick around because next time I have a great episode that's called Sustain the Fire. You don't want to miss it. Sending y'all so much love, and don't forget to keep looking up.